somebody that I remember that I was in a class with in order to show up at a dinner, in order to learn something, and in order to come and be a part of things. I can find new people and meet new people and take new opportunities. We have a fabulous, amazing cohort of people with incredible skills and talents. And it's hard sometimes to get to know all of those people. But I would maintain that that's your job. When I left undergraduate school and at University of North Carolina, Greensboro, one of my favorite teachers, who was also the department chair in English at that time, just flat out stood up and told us, he said, okay, it's up to you now. Somebody asked some kind of question about how they keep up or what was going to be done for them. And he just looked at all of us and he said, it's your job now. And so that concept of what you do next is the job of everybody next, and how you do that, and how you decide to connect, and it's a very, very powerful thing. At the University of Georgia, networking was a big thing of Dr. T's, just like futurism and some things like that. So networking was this big thing, the power of a network. He was very important, and I found that to be true in my own life and career. I was, as a student, in the last formal classes that Paul Torrance ever taught. I remember that day very clearly when he closed down two of the most famous classes that have ever been taught in the field of creativity. One was his creativity class and the other was his sociodrama class. People came from all over the world to take those classes. His health was not good at that time, and he had a problem with sciatica and his neck, so he had a brace on his neck. Ordinarily, Dr. T would be on his feet and moving around. He was not like a jump-off-the-wall dynamic kind of person, but he was this moving, incredible force that went all around. And when he looked at you, or when he spoke, you knew that he was there in an incredibly powerful way. So he was always being engaged with things. But he hadn't felt well. And that day, he hadn't felt well. Plus, it was a very powerful thing. He closed down your formal career. So he'd been sitting back behind the desk and table, which he rarely did. And he was having a hard time with his neck because the brace was on. But at the end of class, in the last classes, that my teacher, one of my greatest teachers ever taught, as he closed down his career, he came to the front of the class. If you've ever seen any pictures of Dr. T, he didn't have much hair, even when he was young. He didn't have a whole lot of hair. But he had this nonverbal habit when he was really thinking and concentrating on something. He rubbed the front of his forehead. I wonder where I get that, Cindy. The whole city's always making fun of me about something. But he would do this. He had to hold his head down a little bit because of the braces sciatica. And he came to the front of the class. And his voice was always very quiet and calm. He never had a loud voice. He was like someone we know, and other people who've been his students have happened to have. And he stood there, and he looked out across that room, and he said to all of us, and these were the words he left us with, he said, "What you do will be hard. But wherever you go, anywhere in the world, you'll always have network." And I never forgot those words. And that was it. Closed down the class. Those were his parting words in his career to us. And I found that to be so true. I was so glad somebody told me it was going to be hard, because I didn't think it was going to be hard. I just thought it was the most wonderful thing, and it has been. But wonderful and hard are not opposites, They're just things that go together. That's how I look at it. But to remember, that's not always easy. It wasn't always, whether it was creativity or anything else. What you're going to do is going to be hard sometimes. But when you have people who understand, who speak the same language, who connect, you can always go back and you can always find that where you want. And I think that's true of ICS. I know it's true of Georgia because I'm still like it. And I still know it is there. He taught so many folks and touched so many folks that it was an incredible network. And you have that, and you belong to that. So part of this creative spirit, I say, talk to folks. Don't wait for someone to be creative for you. It's good if the structure's not there, go out and make it happen. Bottom line is, networking is about one person talking to another person, or knowing what you have in common, or what's interesting, and being willing to say, gee, we might need to work together. Or we might just want to read a book together, or we don't like each other, we don't want to work together at all. But really concentrate on the networking. So that was a key piece for IFC, crossing over cohorts, crossing over who you went to class with, and all that kind of stuff, as a part of the creative spirit. And moving on faster now, I realize I need to do, okay? Produce in unique ways in your own way of time. Just do your own thing, folks. No, people are not made out of cookie cutters. We all have a structure, and God knows we give you a structure, and it's true, you do have to know how to. But there are ways of how you produce and what you do that sometimes you have to do in the way that you would do it. Or you end up in coping all the time instead of creating. So honoring your creative spirit is to understand the system. So I'm not saying don't pay attention to the system, but understand how you are unique in it and honor that as well. Number 6, folks who are involved in what I believe the creative spirit is all about are willing champions of the creative spirit of others. Also, not always hard to do. Also, gee, I wish I'd done that every single time I had the opportunity. And no, I haven't lived up to all of that all the time. But in my heart, I've always wanted to do that. And I come back around to it if I fail at it. A champion of the creative spirit of others. Whatever it takes to do that, that is something that will pay off in the long run. Incredible dividends. So when you see it, and it's going to look different and it can look very annoying. Try to keep a handle on yourself and other people and remember to champion their creative spirit. Not just in yourself, but in other people as well. Number 7 was energy and commitment to the field and domain. I would like to say when I was that young woman that I wasn't young. When I came to Oklahoma State, I was 38 years old. When I had tossed it all over prior to, left my job, resigned my job, took my retirement money out, packed my car, put my dog in the back, packed my old car that didn't last through graduate school, put my dog in the back, put a TV set in, and went off to Georgia for 4 years to live on Cheerios and charge cards. And when I did that, it was a turning point in my life, a very wonderful thing. But I was not a young woman when I came there. I was in the middle. I mean, I wasn't like old and decrepit, but I was not like in my teens. I was like, oh, that young woman who climbed the stairs. Not really, you know. So that middle-aged woman who climbed the stairs in the middle of all of that. I had really a dream and a vision and a passion for the field of creativity. And that it would develop in an orderly kind of fashion, that its concepts and the things that went on with it and its structures would develop in a domain in a way that would not preclude the differentness of everybody, but would still make sense and have coherence to it. So that the folks who came after me would not have as hard a fight as I had, because I certainly didn't have as hard a fight as my teachers, whose teachers who came before me had in a million years. I didn't. But so that the field would be more orderly in its conceptual approach and how that happens without taking away from its diversity and its difference. So that was a passion of mine, and it was why I came to Buffalo. It was part of my one moment in time. Because that I saw as my opportunity to be in a place where I could help, where I could do something like this with my creativity and move it forward in any way that I could based on that. So commitment to the field and domain. And then finally, we asked folks to give a description of how you will inspire and nurture the creative spirit in others. So this is a forward-looking, kind of pay-it-forward sort of thing. What is it you see yourself doing, that you could go out and do? And then we asked them to even sign anything that says, okay, I'll do this. I'm going to go out and do something when this is over. And I'll share it with you. I'll let people know what it was. I'll give you my story. What's that? So that was my shot at saying, well, this is sort of what I mean by the creative spirit. And what that means, and what the scholarship means, and what the award is talking about this evening. So that's the gist of what we're looking at as we open this up this evening. So tonight we're going to begin with the award and the award procedure, and I think we're going to have to connect by distance for part of this. So do I announce who this particular person is at first? Yeah.